how we're forced by some elders to like do specific rounds, like jump rounds, or some specific service, or etc. Like there's many like negatives about that, because you might, if you force someone, then they might not want to do it ever again, and like they'll leave Christian consciousness. Like there's many stories of how many devotees have left because of being forced into doing stuff. But we shouldn't like force each other. They should just do what they feel is right for them. And our last point was how we have some unanswered doubts and questions. Like sometimes we can't, so no one can clarify something for us. We ask them why, and they're just like, it's because we do this, that's why. They don't have a specific reason. And yeah, thank you.
So the last 2 points are very critical. You know, sometimes we force our children, which we shouldn't force our children. I was talking to one Mataji this morning, and she shared with me that she was listening to a class given by a devotee in Dallas, Gopikita Mataji. She runs the Gurukul in Dallas, Texas. And she said that, and she's an Indian, and her husband is white body, and she said that Indian parents always set very high expectations for their children. Too high. And she said, I have learned one thing, because I'm married to an American, that when you set it too high, they fall. And then we blame them. Why did you fall? Because we give them too high expectations. Whereas the Americans, they set low, and slowly they grow. And when they go high, they don't fall. There is a proverb, slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. And that is what we have to do with our children, because once we force, if we think, and sometimes we ourselves forget that we were kids. We are so caught up being a parent, we forget that we were kids at one point. And we forget that when we were forced by our parents, we didn't like it. We never liked it, but we were forced, and inside we're like, why did mommy tell me to do that? Oh my God, I hate this subject. We'll be just very upset. But we do the same thing to our children. We force them when they don't like it. And the more we force kids, the more they rebel. The more and more and more we force, the more, it's like you're forcing the kid. And what is the kid doing? The kid is stepping back. If we think about it, the more you force, the more the kid is going. But the kid is not coming to you closer. It's that the kid is going farther away, because we're pushing the force, repelling. So we have to be very careful that we do not force our children. If they would, and I always say that if the child wants to chant, let them chant. If they don't want to chant, it's okay. They will automatically get their desire, because they got the mercy of Prabhupada. They are with so many devotee friends, so many devotees here, and they love coming to the temple. They love doing service. They love doing so much. They will start chanting in time. But to force them, to punish them, because I didn't finish my round, I think one of the kids, I forgot which kid was in this class, asked me, had shared with something that, what if we forget to do Ekadasi? I said, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. There are many more Ekadasis coming up. I said, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It happens, and the more they feel loved, the more they feel encouraged, the more they'll go. Prabhupada says, if you force me, he was writing a letter to one of his disciples, 1972, November 18, 1972, to a letter to Upendra Das. How I remembered it? I read a lot about this topic of children. Prabhupada says, if you force me, even I won't believe you. Prabhupada said that. Sri Prabhupada said, if you force me, even I will not come to it. So why are you forcing the children? He says, never force children. You encourage them, not force. But we have been forced, so we think we can force these kids. It's not going to work. We're going to be butting heads. So we should encourage prophets. We should guide. Let them make mistakes. We made so many mistakes when we were growing up, but we forget about that and we don't want the kids to make mistakes. But practice makes perfect. They make mistakes. Let them make mistakes. It's okay. So these kids, what they're trying to say in their presentation to all of you is, give me a voice. I want to be included. Please don't force me. Encourage me. If I do something wrong, please don't punish me. Give me love and help me to grow. That's what they're saying. So this is what they have learned. And there's a few more points. Ishika, you go ahead. You're next.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So
Ishika,
basically,
come in front. Come. Move a little bit up there, kids, so that you can be seen. Yeah, come front.
so we all just heard the pros and cons of being a youth sangha, but not everyone understands what a youth sangha is. So basically, youth sangha is like when all the kids will come together and they'll talk, share everything. It doesn't even have to be like related to Krishna consciousness, but they don't just share Krishna conscious feelings, but most of us, we talk about our school life and how it's difficult, and it's more just a family of the same age. So like I know Subra and Sakini, we all just talk all the time, but it's not always Krishna related. It's always just oh yeah, I failed this test. Can you teach me how to fix this? So it's basically just a local group. All of us come together. Most of us we really let's decide who's gonna do kirtan, and we basically are all energetic and enthusiastic. So what we try to do with each other is we support each other, and we always bring each other up and encourage them. I feel if someone having a low time, they'll be oh hey, leave that and come here, we're gonna do this. And we're all just there for leadership and always taking role and making each other feel they're included in the youth sangha. So I know how there's a men's sangha and a women's sangha right now, and Mataji tells us how that's a really good time. So we were hey, we want to do this too. So we went to this youth sangha we already discussed. So it's just basically a family coming together of us teenagers and being engaged in many projects and planning things. So we want to help out in planning. I know how we did the decorations for back there and on the altar. So we just basically want a voice and to help out with whatever we can. And that's just the youth.
So their prayer, their request to all the devotees here, and they are asking, please include me in Prabhupada's mission. Let me be part of it. I want to experience the bliss of Krishna consciousness. I want to do service for Prabhupada. I want to do something for my grandfather. Actually, to them as a great grandfather. I want to be part of Prabhupada's mission. Let me be part of it. How? Include me. And they're very fired up youth, let me tell you. We underestimate these kids, like what Surat was just reading initially, but when these kids come together, they make this temple roar. Last Sunday, when Sunday Mataji and I were sitting back there and everything was over, we were just chilling out, and these kids did not want to leave. They finished all the cleaning upstairs and they were sitting there, they were having bhajans, and I'm saying, okay, it's 8 o'clock, we gotta go home. So myself, Sunday Mataji, Tungavati Mataji, and the Krishna Prabhu, we were just sitting back there just watching and saying, these kids don't want to go home. And then after a while, we were enjoying the kirtan ourselves. And once they stopped, and then when we were about to leave, then both the kids were playing some rhythm, and Sunday Mataji was dancing. I said, Mataji, I thought you said we have to go home, now you're dancing. The kids love it. These kids love the holy name more than we can even think of. These kids love Krishna consciousness more than we can think of. these kids, I feel from my little observation and speculation, they embrace Krishna consciousness more than we adults do. If you tell these kids there's a 3-day festival, 5 days festival, they will be the first bunch to be in the temple, while we'll be like, gotta get up in the morning and drive down here. They'll say, no, I want to be in the temple. Am I right, Manindra? Exactly.
They will be reminding to sign
They
up.
will remind you, are you gonna get up there? We gotta go to the temple because that's the festival. So that shows how vibrant our children are. That shows how vibrant our youth is. That they are ready. You know, if this temple was a 7-day temple, these kids will be in the temple before we come to the temple. I can guarantee you that. That shows how much these children love Prabhupada. How much they want to be part of Prabhupada's mission. How much they want to embrace it. So we cannot underestimate these kids. They are Prabhupada's great-grandchildren. So they have come up with few projects that they would like to do. You know, like they would like to get involved in helping with. Actually, last month they cooked the Sunday feast, and I think they did an awesome job. Even Manoj Panchal Prabhu was like, "Whoa, the kids cooked the feast. This is amazing." He said, "On time." He asked me, what time did they start? I said 2 o'clock. What time did they end? I said 4:15. He says, even my team cannot do that. They got it together. These kids are fired up kids. They got it together. So they, you know, and they want to cook more Sunday feast based on their school and classes and stuff like that. They supported the Earth Day last week for like, 6 hours around Baba Prabhu. They were all there all day long. They were doing Harinam, they were doing bhajans and kirtans at the stall. I'm going to definitely engage them more because they want to be more involved in Rath Yatras. They want to get more involved in the whole planning. They want to get more involved, you know, in like different little projects, you know, probably like, you know, like right now, even Rambaba Prabhu knows that, you know, since these kids come, we don't clean the upstairs. They take care of it. So all we do is just downstairs. But the upstairs, all these kids, they clean, they vacuum, they Windex, they do everything. And then they have party at the end, kirtan. So this is a very special time that we have to allow our children to be part of Prabhupada's mission. We also have to protect them. Do you have more points to add?
We have like...
Go ahead, Ishika.
No, go ahead, you just say this.
So just to expand and give a bit more specifics on what Mataji was talking about. So our ISKCON Harrisburg Temple has come up with our own
Oh yes.
youth sangha, and we've decided to name ourselves Gaura Sangha.
Arriba!
So when they went to the Potomac Regional Youth Sangha group, they had there were 4 temples actually. There were youth from our temple in Harrisburg, from Potomac Temple, from Delaware Temple, and one more.
A little.
No, there was from Baltimore. Yeah, there was a few from Baltimore.
A few from Baltimore. There were about a total of 25 to 30 youth. So what they did was they had different youth groups from different temples break up and come up with a name for their sangha. So these kids brainstormed and they called themselves
Gaura Sangha.
Gaura Sangha. So their youth group is called Gaura Sangha so that they have an identity, you know, and they feel like they own it. And they feel like this is Prabhupada's mission and we're going to do this and we're going to call ourselves Gaura Sangha.
So like our motto for our group called Gaura Sangha is association based on the principles of Lord Gauranga. So there's 4 being outreach, recharge, service, and connections. So that is
What's recharge?
recharge, meaning when we come together, it's sort of like a boost after that, like kind of adrenaline going. Yes, we're enthusiastic. So when we have those, when we associate with each other, then afterwards we're sort of recharged and ready to serve Krishna consciousness and Srila Prabhupada even more. So we call that recharge.
So those are nice points. If you look at what's the first one? Outreach. So if you see last week, they were at the Earth Day for 6 hours. So they were doing more outreach. I do know that there was some talk last year and we couldn't fructify it, so we're hoping to fructify it this year, where we could, during the Christmas time, we can make Christmas cookies and actually go out and distribute to our neighboring, homes right here as prashadam distribution. Make it a nice little cookies. So outreach, they are ready to go out and reach. They are not shy. These kids are not shy. Recharge is when they come together, like what Ishika was saying. When they come together, they don't only talk Krishna consciousness stuff. They talk about what they go through in their lives. In school, I didn't do this well. I'm going through this. I'm having a down day. Like how we all go through. They go through it too. Sometimes we think that these are, golden children, and no, they have feelings. They go through how we go through too. So they come together, they talk about this stuff, they discuss their issues, they get support from each other, they get recharged. They're ready for the service. And then when they
That's our next point.
and then so once they do service, as we have seen, when they cook the Sunday feast in 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I was there with them from the beginning just to help with the stove. They even washed all the big pots. Ram Babu is the witness. He said, they cleaned all the pots, Mataji. They washed all the pots.
That was the key thing.
That was the key thing. So we know that these kids are not babies. They want a voice. We cannot underestimate them. If they can wash big pots, because of strong youth here, So they're ready for service. In fact, they asked me on the way back, I happened to be their driver when we went to the youth sangha. And on the way back, they were sharing their thoughts. And among the 4, I think the ones that really wanted to go back was Aditya. Where is Aditya? I thought I saw Aditya walking. Okay, so Aditya and Ishika were the 2 that were like, do we have to go home? When is the next Sangha? I want to go back and be with my devotee friends, and I said, okay. And they were sharing with me, and one project that they asked me that they wanted to do, and I said, go for it. And I discussed it with Padmanabh Prabhu the very next day. He says, Mataji, no problem. Is these kids want to work on Prabhupada's Vyasasana before his Vyasa Puja in August. So these children will research, they will refurbish, they will stitch, they will sand, they will paint, they will do whatever, but they want to do it for Prabhupada. And I said, amazing. Wow. That's what they want. And I said, sure, go ahead, take a project. You are Prabhupada's grandchildren, great-grandchildren. I have nothing, I can't say no. You have a connection with our divine grace, so yes, please go ahead and do that. What's the last point?
We were going to discuss what we had planned for this year, 2019.
Go ahead.
So Mataji expanded on most of it already, but just to recap, we wanted to have monthly meetups when possible with just each other, whether it be going out somewhere or going to a park or going just to somebody. So when we could come into the temple, we could do kirtan, we could read books together, we discussed a book club for discussion. Of course, lots and lots of prashad. Like I said, we do reading and discussions. We love kirtan, as many of you have seen. We love to do kirtan after the program as well. So we wanted to do a lot of kirtan and harinam. I know Jubilee Day is coming up in
June 20th.
So we wanted to be a part of that as well. So we really do love kirtan and harinam. We want to share that with the outside world. And we also wanted to take up more temple and festival responsibilities as well. We were all really excited to kind of put in our input for Rath Yatra this year, as it's closer than it usually is. So we wanted to take on more heavy responsibilities, like helping with the sound system, helping with decoration, helping with the procession and execution of the whole festival, and actually have concrete responsibilities and duties for the festivals.
I'm going to jump in really quick. When I went to the youth sangha with the kids, The Rath Yatra in Toronto, how many of you have been to the Toronto Rath Yatra? It's a 2-day festival. They actually get on a ferry, go onto the island and spend one full day, come back on a ferry, and next morning they go the full day. That 2-day Rath Yatra in Toronto, I think they come up here. That 2-day Rath Yatra, they get about, I would say, 10 or 20,000 people. That Rath Yatra is purely, completely organized by the youth. Completely. So on the way back, when we were driving, Anj asked me, Auntie, can we plan the Rath? I said, give me a few more years, let me train you up. I said, not right now, eventually, but give me a few months to train you up, then you can probably do it. But they're ready, they're fired up, they want to be involved in services. You know, Vishaka, I know, is very much engaged with Prashta Mataji, you know, like they connect a lot in decorating. Ishika jumps in there, helps out. So these kids really want to serve Prabhupada's mission. And I really think that we need to start looking at our children not as babies anymore. They're growing up. Let's give them a chance. They'll make mistakes, it's okay. We make mistakes and we are growing up too. They'll make mistakes, it's okay, they will learn. And we have to, because that is the only way they will be able to be trained to take over Prabhupada's mission. None of us are going to live forever. We have to pass the baton to this generation, so we have to train them. And it's not going to happen overnight, it's going to take a few years, and that's okay. You know, it took us years to even get to where we're at right now. So that is my humble request. Go ahead, what's the next plan?
And then lastly, we wanted to attend more youth retreats. Like, I think Ansha and Nisha are going to Camping Night, which is a 5-day retreat.
7 days.
7-day retreat in North Carolina. So they'll be attending that, I think, within their age range. And then me, my sister, and then Aditya this year will be attending TSI, the Sunday Initiative for ages 16 and above in Dallas, Texas this year. So in order to connect with the youth within the states, not just Harrisburg and Reading local youth, we wanted to attend those retreats and come back with new ideas, recharge, able to mentor the little kids, and do more service for the temple and for festivals in general.
So there are 2 retreats that's happening, the big ones, and how many of you have kids ages 10? You do, I thought so. There's a retreat called Camp Ignite. That is the junior section of the older kids that happens in North Carolina every single year. Like she was saying that Ansh and Anisha are going for that this year. And it's a 7-day retreat and it's ages 10 through 15. I highly recommend parents to send them if you can for that retreat. It's a beautiful, beautiful experience for our children to really get soaked into Krishna consciousness. When they soak it in, they will never leave it. I can promise you that. And the amazing part in this retreat, the Camp Ignite, is they get to meet many senior devotees, they get to be guided by many senior devotees, they get to be with kids of their age. They do a lot of Krishna conscious activities that are like in drama, in play, in crafts, a lot of stuff. And now this year, Krishna's arrangement, Krishna's mercy, that they have a visiting sannyasi, His Holiness Vritabhaja Maharaj. He loves the youth. I mean, we are trying to get him to visit our temple, and he is going to be at Camp Ignite, and he will personally connect with the children and help them and play with them and talk to them and guide them. So if you have kids ages 10 through 15, I will highly recommend them to attend. And I know for some parents we say, oh, mera bacha, so far away. Let them go. It's very hard for us, But let me tell you, when they come back, you are going to be so happy that you sent your child. They would love it. The other one is ages 16 through 30, and it's always less than 30. 16 through 30, and that is a retreat that is like 5-6 days. Now, the older kids, they go different places each year. Last year they were in New Jersey. The year before they were in Baltimore Temple. This year they're going to Dallas Temple. So each year they go to different temples. And it's not just play. They do a lot of service. It's going to be Aditya's first time experiencing it, but I think you will definitely love it. If you, Vishak and Vrinda, what they have told me is they run literally on 4 hours sleep every single night for 6 nights. They have to cook, they have to clean, they have to do bhajan, they have to attend workshops, they have to go to seminars, they have to get up, catch the shuttle, get to the hotel by 5 o'clock, 1 o'clock, get up at 3:30 in the morning. 5 girls take shower in cold water, jump on put on your sari or gopi skirt, go to the temple, do the kharab, get ready for the offering for breakfast. They just go boom, 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 boom. When they come back, these 2 kids of mine, they feel like they're in euphoria. They're like, when is the next sangha? But this is what trains them. Many of us did not get that training. These kids are getting it. Imagine when these kids get such training and they want to go back. These are the kids that will never leave Prabhupada. They will never leave. I can bet my life on it. Because they got the training that we didn't get. How many of us can go for a 5-day retreat, run on 3 to 4 hours sleep every single night, go to bed at 1 in the morning, get up at 3:30, jump in the shower, hopefully the water is cold, I mean warm but not cold, and it's never warm, it's always cold because there are 5-6 girls in one room, and then take a quick shower, jump in, get in the temple, go to the temple, gotta do the kharab, get the breakfast offering ready, boom, 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 and then after that they gotta wash all the pots. 5-6 days they do that, and they love it. These kids come back, they're like, okay mom, I'm ready for the next one. When is it? They love it. Now this is what we call Krishna conscious spiritual training that many of us did not get, that our kids are getting. And that's why I said, they are benefiting more than we are. They are learning more than we are. They will give their lives more than we can give our lives because they're getting the right training. So we want to encourage these children to really, include them. Let them speak. Sometimes we think, they're 17 years old, how can they correct? What do they know about discipline? Yes, they do, they go to school. They do know discipline. Let them speak. I want to ask Aditya to speak on the kidnapping point. You know that Krishna kidnapping point, Baba?
He's joking, definitely knows.
He knows. Tell him this year and then he'll remember. This is a very good point that I really want the parents and adults to really hear that, because we parents are culprits of it. And I would like, okay, then, you know what, Ishka, you're good. Yeah, she's good. You say it.
Okay.
And please listen very carefully, because we are all culprits and we do it to our children. Go ahead, Ishika.
Okay, so just a little bit of background. There's this kid, he was in 10th grade, and this was the summer we just went to, and he was in 10th grade, and to go on the ethnic part, his dad was from Nepal, and his mom was from Africa, so that was really cool, because he didn't know any Hindi or any languages that we all spoke there. He felt a little excluded until he told us, he goes, I'm not Indian, I can't comprehend. Sorry.